there might be a point where it becomes too much. There's only so much repair of joints and only so much the body can take after a while, and there's only so much that sports science can do. But like I say, I think that all of this has given players a greater lifespan in the game.
If they hadn't had even like one rival, I mean, you've got two rivals obviously because there's three of them. If they hadn't have even had one of them, I think they probably would have finished by now.
It's almost like playing against. Well, I don't think father's a strong enough metaphor for this. It's almost like playing against your god, your mentor. It's quite a tricky thing to reconcile with.
She's got that mindset of, she knows that she's kind of the hunted, but she can still play in a way where she's still got something to prove, which is kind of like the key. It's not to feel like you're defending something, but you're still trying to reach for something. Welcome back to the Getting a Grip Tennis podcast. How you doing, Merlin?
I'm all right, thanks. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. I'm a little bit tired, but yeah, not too bad. Obviously, the main area to talk about is the French Open, which has been going on for the past 2 weeks, in case you haven't been paying attention. So that's mainly what we're going to talk about. Obviously, Nadal claiming his 14th Roland Garros, which is just ridiculous in itself, given that even playing in 14 Grand Slams is hard enough, let alone winning 14 of the same one as well. And obviously, on the women's side, Swiatek, as we predicted, but obviously you're never quite sure whether on the women's side whether that's actually going to come into fruition. She took home the title, equaling Venus Williams' 35 match winning streak, which I've actually just found out is the record from 2000 onwards. Is not the record ever, but that will be something that comes up in the trivia. Well, let's start off with Nadal, because who else are we going to talk about? A man that we wrote off a little bit before the start of the tournament with our predictions, basically because of the foot injury and how much he was struggling in the Rome Open when he lost to Dennis. And obviously it then turns out he's been having injections specifically into a nerve in his foot, which basically means he hasn't been able to feel his foot. Hence why he's just been able to run around like normal, basically. That was a little bit of a shock. But once those first few rounds had happened and you could see he was playing normal, it was like, okay, yeah, there's a chance here. How did you? Yeah, what's your kind of reaction to that? And you won't really be surprised, I suppose, but it's still an incredible achievement, really, at 36 as well.
Yeah, well, again, this is just reinforcing, as I've been saying like previous weeks, especially with the tour, right, reinforcing the fact that age matters a lot less these days. And we started to see that maybe 10 years ago. You started to see some of these veteran players, and it'd be big surprises when the likes of I always remember Radek Stepanek, because he always seemed to come up against the big guns early on, and he was always a very long-lived player. Like you see these people making deep runs in tournaments in older ages, and people used to put it down to, it's a tactical masterclass, and there's so much experience there. They know how to play these people around a court. They've experienced all there is to experience. They've seen too many tennis balls. And that's the rule with tennis. The more tennis balls you see, effectively, like the better you should get at tennis. But I think with Nadal, it is something different, and I think it's a testament to not only recovery and sports science and how far that's come in recent years. The University of Exeter, where we're both from, with all of its research being number one in the UK for sports science research, but more so to the fact that like all of the different things that they come up with, like the most recent being dietary supplements with nitrate, and all the fact that beetroot is amazing for your recovery and the amount of time you get to exhaustion. All of these sorts of things contribute an amazing amount towards tennis players' longevity, and I think Nadal is just a good example of it. I think Murray is another. Yes, he's coming up again. Murray is another side of this exact same coin. Let's face it. Like the fact that he can have the surgery he had and be playing as much as he is now. And at such a high level on the tour. I'd like to see Federer come back. I'm sure you, his biggest fan, would love to see Federer come back. There might be a point where it becomes too much. There's only so much repair of joints and only so much the body can take after a while, and there's only so much that sports science can do. Um, but like I say, I think that all of this has given players a greater lifespan in the game.
Yeah, you see it with their like the drinks that they've got at least.
Yeah,
Between like every couple of games, they've got like they're drinking like very specific amounts, and obviously if
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
goes
Tiny shots almost.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, if it goes beyond like a certain point or they're sweating more than normal or whatever, then they'll adjust that to like a
yeah.
specific amount. So it's all like very to the nth degree, and
Oh yeah.
especially with Nadal, obviously with his like OCD that
Precariously
he's got.
placed bottles. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
where you have to wait like 5 minutes before the match has even started just to get him to come and do the coin toss, and
Exactly. It's
then
got to be it's got to be facing the right way. They've got to be exactly the right distance away from each other because other if not, then I don't know. Maybe
yeah,
his
it'll
foot
just
starts hurting
explode.
again. You never know.
And then at the end as well, when they're trying to like get an interview with him, and it's like, yeah, how, how
Just
long
let
you
him
got
pack
here?
away first. Let him pack away. Let him undo the laces on his shoes so he can breathe. You know.
And then put his Rafa Nadal cap on as well. Yeah, can
Exactly.
never
The
forget
little
that.
academy hat. Yeah,
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 cute. But yeah, yeah, you are right in terms of like improved like sports science and stuff. But I also think it's the fact that these three giants of the game have been playing at the same time. Like
yeah.
if they hadn't had even like one rival, I mean, you've got two rivals obviously because there's three of them. If they hadn't
Yeah.
have even had one of them, I think they probably would have finished by now. Like maybe by early to mid
Yeah.
thirties.
I think there's a lot to be said for the mental grit to, you want to be the best, you want to extend your lead so that, Rafa's thinking, oh, Novak could catch me now, maybe Roger won't, but Novak's, he's got some years left in him in his prime. Yeah, I agree that, that's another mental test to it all. But yeah, like I say, I feel like that's the drive and the reason that drive is allowed is probably where my argument comes in a little bit more.
Yeah, I think Federer's like, I think he already accepted that he wasn't going to end up with the most majors maybe like a few years ago. I could kind of
Yeah.
tell in the way he was like speaking about tennis in general, and he was not
Yeah.
talking about that as much. He's already sort of like could see it happening at some point in the future.
Yeah.
But I still, yeah, I think Novak will end up with the most, but I am still a little bit surprised that Nadal's managed to get even to 22, to be honest, and maybe he can get like one or two more. I did make the bold statement that I don't think he's going to win anymore, just because of this
Yes.
injury.
An
I'm,
insight into a private talk.
yeah, I don't. If they can't find like a proper solution to it, I just don't see him wanting to carry. Like, think about just your normal standard of life outside of tennis. You
Yeah,
can't have
this is
injections all
it.
the time, and what damage is that going to do long term? I just don't think
Yeah.
he's going to want to do that, and he's got perspective on tennis
This
and like
is
general
this
life.
is like
So
a lot of players before, yeah. Like I say, you want to be able to walk with your grandkids and all of that sort of thing. That's the one that they always bring up. That's the thing the doctors always use to sort of instill fear. Would you rather play another 2 years competitive tennis and wear that hip down, or would you rather have the long term function of walking effectively? Um, Again, they're going to weigh it up. They're going to work it out, and there's still a lot more years left. It's not to say that damaging something now doesn't mean it can't be fixed in the future. But yeah, you are right. Quality of life is is important.
yeah. Um, on the topic of injuries, obviously
Mm,
the one other major injury from the fortnight was that horrible
yes,
fall from Zverev, and the scream was just the scream was worse. It was like
that's
he's
not a
not even
rolled ankle
shot.
scream. That's not a
Oh
rolled ankle scream.
no,
No, something snapped. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it.
it was kind of when it happened. It was no one even sort of realized initially because the way the camera was panning wasn't like on where he
Yeah.
was because he was sort of like he
No, no.
stretched for a ball, but like the point was basically over, and then you just fucking hear his like scream, and it was
Yeah,
oh
yeah, yeah.
god. So yes, I think it's turned out that he's damaged like a few ligaments in his ankle, so I'd imagine
Mm.
that'll be probably months really, because if it's ligament, it takes longer for it to
I
heal
was
in
gonna
terms of blood
say,
supply.
yeah, it's a tough area to heal. Especially ankles or wrists. They're the worst. They're the worst place you can get the damage. I would have thought. Um, Yeah, we don't really know the details yet. And he said that he's going to come out with those details soon enough. He said that they think it's serious. Um, yeah, the sort of the drama behind it. Yeah, months, a year, something like that. Because I remember when Del Potro did his wrists. Um, I remember it being a long time before he could get back on a tour, for example. So again, yeah, it's tough to know until we know what the problem is specifically. It's hard for us to speculate too much. He could he could literally have just rolled his ankle real bad. Although I really don't think that's the case.
Oh no, when I saw the slow mo, it was like full on like 90 degrees, like underneath him. It was
Yeah. It's not good. Not good.
oh god. Yeah. Who else is there to talk about? I suppose Ruud in the final. Like
Yeah.
it's a great run from him really, and I don't think anyone really expected him to do much in the final. But
If I were to have predicted it, I would have predicted exactly what happened. As soon as it was 2 sets up, I was like, well, he's basically going to get bagel in this third set. And lo and behold, he did. Yeah, again, like once Nadal gets a grip on something like that there's not really much coming back from it unless you're the likes of Novak or Roger, with that sort of fighting spirit. And Ruud's really early in his career, so it's not to say that he won't get that fighting spirit, but I think that some of that would have been dampened down by the nerves and the excitement of being in your first final, because that's the first time he's made it to, God, what was it? The first round of 16, quarters, semi, and then the final itself. So he'd already had an incredible tournament and picked up some incredible ranking points as well. They can't forget that.
yeah, which no one will be picking up at Wimbledon.
No, exactly. But that's another topic, one of which I'm not allowed to be salty on. So
No, you can't really go too hard at him. Really, he's done like amazing, especially when like Tsitsipas was having a bit of an iffy run of matches and then got knocked out. Ruud kind of basically just took the opportunity and got as far as he could get. And yeah, maybe you're right with the nerves. Like often it won't show until like the latter half of the match. You get you get the adrenaline pumping, and then you just get that kind of like dump towards like the back half of the match, and then you just don't have the energy to kind of like give your best.
I think that's what happened in the third set, coming together with a knowing of what's happening, and what's about to happen. Like it's hard to fight something that effectively was inevitable. Not saying that the outcome was inevitable from the start of the match, although we could be savage and say that is the case, or was the case. But yeah, once he's 2 sets up, there's not much fighting that, especially on his favourite court at his favourite tournament that he has now won 14 times. Yeah, congratulations to Rafa for that.
Yeah, I think Ruud was probably thinking if I can't really do too much damage to him, otherwise I might not get invited back to the academy. So
Yeah,
just
this is it. This is
nice
it.
win.
But that's another reason it was pressure. The whole reason you could argue for his tennis's existence is the example set by Nadal, and then it's almost like playing against. Well, I don't think father's a strong enough metaphor for this. It's almost like playing against your god. Your mentor is quite a tricky thing to reconcile with. But regardless, he's played some fantastic tennis, and there's only improvement to be made. I think there's a lot of stuff that he can improve on to take his game to the next level. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, his forehand was it wasn't as good as Nadal's, but it was almost as effective though because
Yeah,
I think he ran around it a little too much from what I could see. He was
a
literally
little
like
bit.
off the
Yeah,
court almost on the
you
backhand
can't
side.
you can't run around a ball and give so little weight to it because there were a lot of those loopy,
Yeah,
almost close to moon balls is what we could call them. They're clearing like 2 or 3 net heights. They give him lots of time, but if you're running around and hitting that to Nadal, he's gonna put it away. Um, Again,
yeah,
yeah, you've got to choose your moments for those sorts of shots, and I'm not quite sure it was as refined as it could have been.
yeah. The idea was right. It's just
Yeah,
picking the time to do it. Obviously, when Nadal does it, he literally goes in with the intent like this is going to either win the point or basically be borderline impossible to return with any
yeah.
pace.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, but I'm sure he'll take some lessons from it. And yeah, I mean, first major final. Obviously, he still hasn't won. He hasn't won a Masters event yet either, but he's getting closer. He's still in that nearly man bracket, but
It's
yeah,
that confidence. I think maybe he won't be a nearly man one day. I think it's quite possible he'll
one
he'll
day.
he'll break that streak again. Like once the three have gone in many respects from the tour, I think the likes of Ruud may be picking up more, but again, it's hard to say, depending on a certain person who didn't quite make as deep a run as I expected in the tournament. Depends whether he does become an unstoppable number one or not. That is Carlos Alcaraz, for those of you who are questioning my shady way of saying that. But yeah, like I say, you could have Ruud being someone who is, in a new top sort of bracket.
Does he get the Nearly Man of the Week award this week?
Yeah, so if we did talk about creating this, didn't we? I think that yeah, he does get the Nearly Man of the Week.
Is it too
I'll be
harsh to give
honest.
it to Zverev?
I think a part of me would lean towards giving it to him slightly more because he was toe to toe with Nadal. We did discuss the fact that, you were right. I think Nadal was just about above him on the important points, those key moments of the match. That's why he got that first set the way he did. But I think, Zverev without the ankle injury, he could have toppled things. But again, we'll never know.
Yeah, I think he could have got at least a set. I thought it was going to be he wasn't going to be at anywhere near Nadal, but he was.
Yeah.
What he was trying to do was he was actually just trying to grind Nadal down. I think he was
He
trying
was,
to
he was,
use
yeah.
the foot injury, but
But it wasn't a grind by weightless ball. It was a grind by quite some fairly aggressive play. It was just trying to beat Nadal at almost his own game. Given that he is a fitter, younger. Well, he was a fitter younger player. Now he's a much more broken version
yeah.
of Nadal. But yeah,
Yeah, I think at times he did get a little bit passive. Like there's often times where he's almost like reaching forward for the ball, and it's like just step
yeah,
into the court. Like you don't have to just stay in the same
no,
position for the whole time. But certainly on the clay, like his ground strokes, yeah, were like you could hit through Nadal, you can pretty much hit through anyone, and like his backhand especially on the stretch was incredible.
yeah. I think Nadal was right in his speech. Zverev is going to be one of these people. He won't be an early man. He will make some serious titles. We're yet to see the big ones, but it will happen.
Yeah, if he can play like that more often,
Yeah,
and
if he
sort
can
out
get
that
his
second
ankle
serve.
back to full health.
Yeah. Maybe you just have to play with a metal ankle or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's all the rage now.
Metal joints, all the rage.
Yeah, it's all the fashion.
Yeah, so Casper Ruud nearly man of the week for the inaugural award.
And Zverev nearly got it.
Yeah, maybe that's why he
That's
thought, I'll just take myself out here just to avoid being put on that, that
That
pedestal.
pedestal. He's afraid of us. Yeah, he listens to the podcast. He's afraid of that exact title.
Okay, let's talk a little quickly about the women's side. Again, obviously it's Swiatek who takes it. I think she only dropped one set in the whole tournament.
That's right.
Which was like a 7-6 or a 7-5. Literally that match we were talking about in the last one, I think we were like, oh yeah, she's just gonna like coast this. She ended up losing the set.
It was definitely a commentator's curse on our behalf because we were talking about how amazing she is. We were talking about how easily she's going to win this French Open, and like half an hour later, oh, there goes the set. So
Ridiculous, yeah. So she, as I said before, she's equaled the Venus's record for 35 consecutive wins. Like this is incredible. Is this her second Grand Slam? I'm not. She's won the French before, like in 2020. I'm not sure she's won any others. That's just kind of showing.
I'm not sure. I don't.
Knowledge.
It's not coming to memory that she's won any others, but it's possible she did. I can't remember.
No,
I'm sure
she
someone listening will be able to tell us in the comments. So please do let us know if she has won anything other than the French Open in terms of Grand Slams. But yeah, I think that she's vast. She's definitely establishing herself as something of as a champion. As someone who I think that we can get used to winning for a little while.
She's got that mindset of she knows that she's kind of the hunted, but she can still play in a way where she's still got something to prove, which is kind of like the key. It's not to feel like you're defending something, but you're still trying to reach for something.
Yeah, that underdog mentality, even if you are a champion, you've still got to bring a little bit of that to whatever you're doing, because otherwise, as you say, if you're defending something, your mindset will go into a defending state. So, yeah.
Do you see her being able to translate this into Wimbledon if she plays Wimbledon?
Yeah,
different
I did. I
surface.
have questioned this. It's a different game, and I think it's especially a different game on the women's tour, more so than I think it is the men's tour in terms of the tactics and how they translate. Um, I'm going to say now she won't win Wimbledon. I think she'll maybe make it to the second week, but I don't think she'll win it. And I think you'll see one of these more veteran players on the WTA. I reckon they'll probably take it because again, I feel like Simona Halep every year at Wimbledon, despite her performance at the French this year, it is always a big threat. Especially the way I saw her beat Serena Williams a few years ago was just it was another level of tennis. So yeah. Anyway, but like I say, I think that you'll probably see someone a little bit more experienced on the tour probably taking Wimbledon on a women's side.
Yeah, I mean, I just checked her record. The best she's done at Wimbledon is the fourth round. I think obviously
Yeah.
serve comes more into it. Although Wimbledon's not as fast as it used to be. Obviously, if you got a big serve, it goes a long way to getting at least to the second week. So that may be
Mm,
one area where it kind of balances it up, brings the other players into it more. I think
yeah.
I think she's
Yeah.
still capable of doing it. The way she's been playing like so aggressively, stepping in on the
Yeah.
clay
Yeah.
can be translated onto grass. It's just how many like 3 points you can get on the serve. I think.
I think if she can convert it into, sort of approaching the net a little bit, starting to play a little bit of a game a little bit more like the men do on the grass, for example, I think yeah, she'd definitely bring a new element to Wimbledon. So that would be quite nice to see if she does start to do that. But like I say, she's going to have people talking to her about the best tactics for the courts.
Yeah, but I don't know if what event she's playing in the lead up, but it would be nice to see her at like Queens or something. Um,
Yeah.
that'll give us a good indication of kind of like where she's at. But obviously, yeah, she's got to recover a little bit before then. Enjoy the win,
Mm.
and then yeah, gear up for the grass. All right, tennis trivia is back. It's going to be more along the lines of Rafa Nadal talking about his numerous achievements and a little bit of
Mm.
stuff on winning streaks, given Iga Swiatek's kind of amazing run that she's still on at the moment.
Incredible. Yeah, yeah, incredible.
So let's get straight into it. So number one, Rafa won his first Roland Garros in 2005,
Mm.
but when did he actually turn professional? Was it
Ooh.
2001, 2002, 2003, or 2004? You're probably
Hmm.
expecting something different there when I introduce that
Yeah,
question.
I was. When you introduced that, I thought, who did he play?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, give me the options again. I know you said 2001. That's the only one I remember, funnily enough.
One, two, three, or four.
I'm going to say one because that was the one I remembered out of the ones you said. That I'm taking that as a subconscious cue, but I actually don't really have a clue. I'd go with earlier based on if I was trying to think about it, but yeah, I'm going to go with 2001.
Well, that is actually correct.
Jesus.
That is
Subconscious mind for the
clutch.
win.
That is clutch. Yeah, he didn't actually. Yeah, so he turned professional in 2001, but he didn't actually win his first title until 2004.
Oh,
Um,
really? Wow.
yeah, I can't remember.
Big old
Was his
brand.
first French Open in '04 or was it in '05? He won it the first time, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
Yeah, because the only two people that have beaten him there are Novak. Yeah, so I'm just trying to think.
yeah, I think it was.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's right.
Well, it's funny you should say that. That segues nicely into the question two. I didn't actually intend for that to happen. So Nadal has only lost 3 times at the French Open, twice
Mm,
to Novak, obviously, and then once to the Swedish maestro Robin Soderling. But my
indeed.
question is, how many matches has he won at Roland Garros?
Wow, okay.
So your options are 108, 110, 112, or 114.
Hmm.
I actually thought you might have done a bit of research on this when I told you it was going to be Nadal themed, but
Yeah,
Probably science it actually.
in fairness,
probably work it
you
out.
told me at the start of the podcast when we started recording. So, unless I'm very good at multitasking, I probably find it quite hard to manage that. Give me those numbers again, would you?
108, 110, 112, or 114. You could probably work it out, but tricky one.
I'm just doing some quick maths in my head.
Yeah, he's like, did he lose in the fourth round? When else did he lose?
It's got to be the teens. I'm gonna go with 112 from sort of the rough maths I've done in my head.
That is correct. Yes.
That's a good like considering my job, I probably should be all right with the maths.
Yeah, so should I really. So yeah, because he lost in the fourth round to Soderling, and he lost.
That's right. I remember these
Djokovic.
bits.
He lost in the quarters to Djokovic, and then the semis, I think, wasn't it?
That's
and
right.
you could just subtract that from like however many years it is. Was it 18 tournaments? Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So his win ratio is 97%. At the French Open. Yeah.
Wow.
112-3, yeah.
Nice. When you put it into a percentage, that's silly.
Yeah, and you won't be surprised to know that stands alone. No one has got anywhere near that. I mean, even Novak at the Australian Open has not got. I think his is probably like below 90%, maybe. But yeah, 97% is ridiculous.
I feel like I know that stat. I feel like it's 86, 87%, something around that.
Is it?
For Novak. I think it's around that, yeah. I could be wrong. Again, I could be wrong, but that rang a bell for some reason. But interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, 2 out of 2. Good start. In 2, you probably were not necessarily expecting to get right. Okay, so this is the last Nadal question. How many Grand Slams has Nadal won without losing a set? Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Okay, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Oh, I remember when he did it once at Roland Garros. I feel like he's done it since because didn't he do it at an Aussie Open as well? Or was that up until the final?
No, he hasn't done it at an Aussie Open because he. Obviously not the last one, and the one he won before. He did lose a set to something like a couple sets, I think. I would just my only advice would be
French Open.
Yeah, just think about French Open.
Oh, so that's the clue. So it is just French Open. But given his success, it's got to be up there. So 1, 2, 3, or 4. I'll go with 4. I don't really know. I know he's done it at least once or twice. But I feel like given he's won 14, I reckon that stat's got to be up there.
That's correct. Yes, well done.
Okay.
Good logic. It's the logic. It's coming through again. I need to apply.
It's all I've got. I don't know the answers.
So he did it in the 2008, 2010, 2017, and the 2020 French Open. That one that was in October.
Wow, that is some consistency. It's not like he did it at one point in his career. He's done it over his career.
Yeah,
wow.
And he stands alone again with that. I'm not sure how many Federer's done. I think Federer's done 2 or 3. He definitely did it at Wimbledon in 2017, the last one he won. And he might have done it before. You're
giving out a lot of reasons right now to suggest that Nadal is the GOAT, which is not in your favour considering how much you love Roger.
For now he is. Well, I've kind of let go of Roger being objectively being the GOAT. He's my greatest because not just for the stats and everything that comes around it. I mean, you could probably argue against Nadal for the fact that he's definitely the best ever on clay.
Dominated,
but,
yeah.
But
that's the only reason you can really discount Nadal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
I think if Novak wins like a third French and then wins like another Wimbledon and maybe another US Open, it's like, well, he's just going to be the most well-rounded of all of them.
Yeah. Well, how many Wimbledons has Nadal won?
2.
2.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Novak's got how many French?
2.
And Federer's only got 1, hasn't
he? Mm-hmm.
he? Yeah. So I'm going to say for surfaces wise, I think there are a lot of reasons there to say that they've both overtaken Federer in terms of GOAT status. But the old arguments really are dying out.
Okay, here we go. Number 4. So, as I've mentioned many times, Swiatek equaled Venus Williams' record of consecutive wins from 2000 onwards. But I want to know who has the longest winning streak in women's tennis history. So, your options are...
Pre-Open era?
Oh no, we're not going to do this again, are we? No, this is Open era, I think.
Okay, this is Open
Well, when
era.
I say the names, it will become clear.
Well, I was going to say it's going to at least be players I know.
Well, so yeah, your options are Steffi Graf, Martina Navratilova, Margaret Court, so maybe that isn't Open era, and Chris Evert.
I think I know that this is Martina Navratilova, and I'm not going to question it too much. I'm going to take this as like a proper multiple choice exam technique. I'm going to go with Navratilova because I know that she's had some periods of her career where she was just genuinely unstoppable.
That is correct again. Well done. Yeah. Do you want to hazard a guess as to how many she won in a row?
Well, Swiatek's just got 35, hasn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it can't be that far away, surely. I'll say like 50.
74.
Blood.
have a day off, will you?
I was going to say, imagine being that good at tennis. Wow.
Imagine just trying to win that at like a club level.
yeah, just that sort of consistency it's unbelievable.
So she did.
What is that? Like a full year's worth of matches?
pretty much. She did it in 1984. I thought it was going to be spanned across more than 1 year, but 1984 apparently.
Okay.
Yeah, just a joke, really. I think that was just from singles as well, not even including how amazing she was at the doubles.
Yeah,
there you go. Jesus. Okay, so here we go. This is for the full set again, for your third 5 out of 5. So again, it's a winning streak question. The longest winning streak in men's singles history from 1990 to present, so a fairly recent one, is held by Djokovic. But how many matches did he win?
Ooh,
your options are 32, 37, 43, or 48. You try and work out like when that was now, aren't you? He's had a couple of years where he's gone.
I was going to say it'll be one of his unstoppable years, and it'll be pre Murray's great year. This is the thing. I think of someone like Murray with the 1 year where he seemed to win pretty much everything, but even he couldn't string that many matches together all in a row. Like he'd be unstoppable, but he'd just then not win a final here and there. It's that sort of thing. So it's like, Say the numbers again.
32, 37, 43, or 48.
Gonna cut down the middle. The 30s doesn't sound right. I'm gonna cut down the middle. I'm gonna say 43.
Yeah, that is correct. Well done. He's got 5. Unbelievable. I thought you were going to say, when you said cut down the middle, I was like, he's going to just miss this. Oh.
What? Give you an answer that was between the second and the third one?
Yeah. Just to add a twist in there. Yeah, so which year do you think he did that in? Or years?
I don't know. I have no clue.
It was 2010-11. That's when he kind of first
2010-11. Oh, my brain.
Number one.
I hate to say this. I hate to be that sort of person, but my brain did scream 2010 at me before I said I didn't know. I was trying to be like, oh no, I don't know.
Humble. Yeah.
Rubbish. Absolutely.
Don't be humble. You got 5 out of 5.
I need to say what my brain thinks. It's clearly working.
We've had the King of Clay. Now we've got the King of Quizzes with us. We're in the presence of greatness here.
Yeah.
Federer's pretty close, though. Federer had a 42 match winning streak in 05-06, so
Okay.
pretty tight. But the all-time record is Bjorn Borg with 53. So yeah,
I was going to say, I thought that the number was higher for the guys. But that's interesting to say as well. Like, we always talk about the women's tour, currently at least, or at least pre-Swiatek's incredible run at the moment, as being so inconsistent. Whereas what you realise is that the women's tour has the record for the longest winning streak.
Yeah.
So
it's become more difficult as well, especially
that.
with like these great players that are around. So the fact that he did that to break the kind of Nadal Federer axis is like all the more incredible. But there you go. Oh, we are running out of time. So yeah, there we go. 5 out of 5. Maybe next week I will break free of the Nearly Man quiz curse I've got on me.
Nearly Man quiz curse. I'll tell you what, you'll get my award this week. You'll get my Nearly Man of the Week award.
Thanks. I can't believe I've snatched it away from Ruud. He's become the Nearly Man of Nearly Men.
Exactly, but that was Zverev before, so he's just the Nearly Man.
Okay. And on that note, it's time to wrap it up. So yeah, obviously, if you have enjoyed it, give it a follow on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts. On YouTube, give it a like, share it around, subscribe, and also let us know if you think Nadal's going to win any more slams. That is an interesting topic of debate at the moment. Leave the comments for what you think about that. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.